Now, analysts and a lot of fans out there like to try to judge quarterbacks based on their win-loss record. Oh, well, he's not a great quarterback because he has a below 500 record. You cannot solely base the quarterback on a win-loss record. You want to know why? Because football is a team sport. One player isn't playing every position on the field. There are a lot of factors that go into determining how successful a quarterback is going to be and how many games he's going to be capable of being able to lead a team to. A great quarterback, if he's playing on a bad team with bad coaching, he's not going to have a great win-loss record. When you look at Matthew Stafford, right? What was the narrative about him before he got traded to the LA Rams and won the Super Bowl? He was overrated. You remember the nickname they used to give Matthew Stafford? Matthew Stat Pafford. He put up a lot of great numbers in the fourth quarter, but many people said that he was overrated and he couldn't come through in the big games. Plus, they used to throw the 0-3 playoff record at you. Then he goes to the Los Angeles Rams, and everybody realizes how good Matthew Stafford is, how talented he is, and how the Detroit Lions weren't able to build around him properly. And pretty much, he was able to prove the doubters wrong and lead the Rams to a Super Bowl. And then he becomes a Super Bowl champion, and now you got people trying to make the argument that he's a borderline Hall of Famer. But when it comes to other quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins, though, they look at their win-loss record and they say, oh, they're not that great. Oh, they're overrated. But Kirk Cousins hasn't had the same teams as guys like Patrick Mahomes. Now, there's been certain years when Kirk Cousins has had teams that's been good enough to win a Super Bowl, but he hasn't been able to come through. But you see, win-loss record can't be equally given to every single QB. At the same time, not every quarterback is going to be in the same situation that has success. The most successful quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, guess what they all have in common? Great head coaches. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Drew Brees, Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll. You need a great quarterback if you want to be a successful head coach, and you need a good head coach if you want to be a successful quarterback. Justin Fields just signed a record-breaking contract extension, right? And he's getting considered overrated because of the Chargers choking away a 27-0 lead. You can't put that on Justin Herbert. That's not Justin Herbert's fault. Was Justin Herbert out there playing defense? Was he out there playing cornerback? Was he calling the plays? You cannot put that loss entirely on Justin Herbert. And then when you try to look at these win-loss record scenarios, when you look at some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, they all have great win-loss records. And you want to know something else that they have? A great supporting cast. Jimmy Garoppolo has a higher career winning percentage than Deshaun Watson. Who do you think is the better quarterback, Deshaun Watson or Jimmy Garoppolo? Obviously, it's Deshaun Watson, but based on a lot of people on Twitter who like to throw, oh, this QB doesn't have a great winning percentage out there, and there are arguments for why quarterbacks are better, you're basically telling me based on that thinking that Deshaun Watson isn't better than Jimmy Garoppolo because Jimmy Garoppolo has a better winning percentage. Why does Jimmy Garoppolo have a better winning percentage than Deshaun Watson? Because he's been in a better situation than Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson was on the San Francisco 49ers, do you not know how many championships they could have won? Him and Kyle Shanahan together? Compared to Jimmy Garoppolo? That's why you cannot always define a quarterback by a win-loss record. I think that trying to make arguments using win-loss records as arguments is a weak selling point to try to prove why another quarterback is better. And not just that, but having these quarterback debates are kind of pointless anyway, because every single quarterback you can make excuses for not being better than the other. When it comes to Joe Burrow being better than Patrick Mahomes, you can say, well, Patrick Mahomes has had a better offensive line than what Joe Burrow has. You can make the argument and say that Joe Burrow has had a better overall team than Josh Allen. You can make the argument and say that Patrick Mahomes is better than Lamar Jackson because he's had better coaching and more weapons than Lamar Jackson. That's why these quarterback debates are kind of pointless, and trying to justify why a quarterback's better or why a quarterback is elite or why a quarterback is good based on his win-loss record is dumb. At the end of the day, if a quarterback is in a bad situation compared to a guy that's in a great situation, of course, the guy in the better situation is going to have a better win-loss record. You can't compare situations. Not everybody has the same weapons. Not everybody has great coaching. You need all those things to be successful as a quarterback. Quarterbacks that often end up becoming busts get drafted to unstable organizations that don't have stability on the coaching staff. The quarterbacks that are the most successful are the quarterbacks that don't have to undergo the most coaching changes. If you want to try to judge a quarterback by a win-loss record, you're going to have to basically say that if you were to put all these quarterbacks on the same situations, on the level playing field, with the same amount of talent to work with, these guys are going to be better just based on how many games they can impact with them taking snaps underneath center. Having a great win-loss record doesn't always define a quarterback. Matthew Stafford had a winning record with the LA Rams the year he won the Super Bowl, 12-5 in the regular season, undefeated throughout the playoffs. He had a losing record of 74-90 with the Detroit Lions in 12 seasons there, and he was 0-3 in the postseason. And everybody tried to label Matthew Stafford an overrated quarterback or a mid quarterback, right? And then he gets traded to the LA Rams. They win a Super Bowl with him, and all of a sudden, he's an elite quarterback now. That's why you can't define truly how great a QB is based on a win-loss record. Matthew Stafford got an all-time great head coach in Sean McVay. Name me a single quarterback that has won a Super Bowl that didn't have a great head coach. Great quarterbacks are playing with great head coaches. Great head coaches need good quarterbacks to be successful, but elite head coaches can win with subpar quarterback play. Not every single quarterback is going to have a great situation, but the great ones are going to be able to overcome it. But however, they still aren't going to be able to have a lot of postseason success, and they still most likely aren't going to have a lot of success in the regular season. That's why the teams with the best coaching plus the best quarterbacks normally go the furthest in the playoffs. Look at the couple of teams that we had in the conference championship this past season. Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, 49ers. What did all four of those teams have in common? They had elite head coaches. Quarterbacks cannot be defined by a win-loss record, man. That is one of the silliest narratives that get pushed out there by the national media, and it's a myth. Not every quarterback is in the same situation to be successful. When you see certain quarterbacks that were in bad situations go to better opportunities and they end up breaking out, you be like, oh, how were they not this good before? Because they were in a bad situation.